Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming to Create Sell Print today. My name's Andrew Talbot, for those of you that haven't met me, and we're going to take you through a little journey this afternoon. We've got 5 of us doing some hopefully informative talks for you, explaining where the market is going for mass customization. If you're in the internet generation, which we'll talk about later on, you have got a hashtag of Create Sell Print, and we are streaming the event this afternoon live on Periscope. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then you're not in Generation My, but we'll talk about that later on. So let me just walk you through what we're going to cover. So I'm going to introduce you to a concept which is Custom Gateway. I'm going to talk a little bit about the different types of products we create. I'm going to be joined on stage then by some other people. Rebecca is going to talk to us about the importance of content. And then Kurt from Creation Express has kindly agreed to share some of his experiences in taking personalisation in store. Annie from our team has come up with the concept of Generation My. And then Alistair at the end is going to share some of the different business models that have been working for people around the world in the customisation business. This should go on for about just over an hour, and then we're open again till 5 for you to network with some of the best-in-class suppliers in the personalised products industry. So everybody here on the supplier side gets it. They understand mass customisation, and they're set up to fulfil orders for mass customisation. There are many suppliers that don't get it, mainly because they've invested in equipment that doesn't work this way. So do spend some time if you want to know about the best suppliers. They're in this room today, so we're quite lucky to have them all. So I wanted to start off with some useful research, and this was from a Deloitte State of the Market handout, which was called The Rise of Mass Personalisation. And it's a 20-page report, but I just took 3 facts out of that report that I thought would be very interesting for you. So 36% of people have expressed an interest in personalised product. Now, that sounds a lot, but it actually still means that there are, do my maths right, 64% of people that haven't yet bought and thought about personalised product. So we're in a new marketplace, really. Although some of you in the room I know have been working in this space for some time, and we're lucky to have some of the innovators here today. You know, I won't name them all because I might get in trouble by forgetting some, but some of the people in the room here today have been working in the customisation space a lot longer than I. And this, I think, is a very interesting fact. 42% of people want to be guided. So if you give them a blank canvas, they panic. They don't know what to do with that blank canvas. So one of the things we have to think about if we're in the mass customisation business is guiding people. And the other interesting point is don't undersell yourself. 1 in 5 people would happily pay 20% more for a customised product or a personalised product. So you don't have to sell at the same prices. Certainly in the market at the moment, people will pay more for a customised product. So I wanted to just go through, we've been doing this for 4 or 5 years at Gateway now, and we'd like to think we're one of the innovators in the marketplace. And there are a few barriers to success. Too many customers fail. Why? Does it mean there isn't a market? No, not really. Ultimately, it's down to one thing. They don't get the traffic through to their website. People have this concept of they think we set up a website and we're in business. And it's good to see some of the leading e-commerce providers who will smile at that comment and know that that's true. Now, what does everybody in this room want? Orders. Orders make the world go round, whether you're a retailer or a supplier. We call them orders, clicks. So our job is to stimulate orders, not just provide technology. So what are the key drivers to orders? It's really having the right content, having the right products, and having the right technology. Now, all three of those things, Gateway can now help with. The traffic bit, that's the job that needs to be done by the marketplace, but we're going to do everything we can to stimulate traffic. So we've asked ourselves the question over the last 12 months, is how can we deliver this better? How can we help people more? Pull technology is definitely a blocker, because the problem with a personalised product is it's an order of one. So if you are paid a decent wage and you spend half an hour sorting out an order for a personalised product, you've now lost money on that product. So process is everything when selling personalised products. So the thing we asked ourselves is, what do we need to change about our business to make us more helpful to our clients? So as of now, we are no longer Gateway 3D. We are Custom Gateway. We still create, sell, print, but we are the platform and network for personalised and on-demand products. And I'm going to share some of the changes that we've put into our business now to help drive this forward. So we're rebranding our business Custom Gateway to reflect more what we do for the market. So in essence, it's a cloud-based software platform. Hopefully everybody in the room knows about that. That's what we've been doing for some time. We're also becoming a digital content database. So I'm pleased to announce today that we are partnering up within the papers and putting our two businesses together so that we provide not only the software, but the content. So in doing that, we're also going out to other content providers, there's some I'm going to share with you in a minute, and saying we want to help push your content around the internet, around the personalisation world. So Gateway 3D is not just about software now, it's about content too. And the third strand, which I'm ever so grateful for our partners in being here today, is we want to drive orders to our supplier network. So we have a supplier network now that's expanding around the world. We have Daniel, I don't know if you wave around, Daniel. Where are you? At the back there. Daniel heads up our European operation, and Alistair heads up our US operation. So we're looking for fulfillment partners all around the world to drive the message of customisation. Certainly in the B2B sector, that's becoming increasingly important, and commonly in B2C. You know, we've had approaches from the major American players to say, what content, what print, what suppliers can we use in Europe? So we're pushing that out now. And we want to basically enable people to create and deliver personalised and on-demand products. And this is sort of how we do it, and I promise this is my only mildly technical diagram, which I will whiz through at breakneck speed. We have a content database, which is obviously the work that we're doing with the In the Papers team, which can then be sold using a personalisation or on-demand app on your website, or you can use it through a third-party bit of software, text-only, external artworks. We've increased the flexibility of what we do. Then the absolute key is we generate the artwork. That is why personalisation works. No human touch. And then we'll push that either into third-party systems, where lots of our suppliers have their own workflow, or if they don't have their own workflow, we've got what we call Gateway OMS, which manages all of that. So in simple terms, that is what we do now. And content now available for our Gateway, so we've obviously got a strong presence in the sporting industry now, and the newspaper industry, and then down below are just some of the partners that we're working with. So Customised by Me, I know they're here today. They have a great license for the personalisation of Disney products. So that's happening. There's a whole range of Disney assets that are available for reselling. We've seen a very interesting Scottish artist, managed by some of our partners in the room today, who is creating great traffic from their art. PMC are probably the largest independent personalisation house in the UK and also have their own unique licences. So they're worth a conversation with outside. And Click and Create is the brainchild of Kurt and Katie. And Kurt's going to tell us a little bit about that later on. And we also work with people like Signature. So our objective is not only to provide a software platform, but also, where needed, to provide the content to drive it too. How does it benefit you, the global you? So if you're a supplier, hopefully we drive more traffic to you. We're not a supplier, we're a content and network provider. If you're a retailer, it gives you more reasons for people to come to your site, a quicker way to get product online. That doesn't mean you shouldn't design your own unique content, we just want to give you a helping hand. It enables us to help other content providers because we have more experience now of rolling content, what the different platforms need. We've got something like 40 different retailer integrations now, so we can push our technology fairly painlessly into 40 different websites. It makes us mass customization experts, not just a software company, and it means we have more options to help people succeed, which is actually what we're all about, driving orders. So, a lot of the time people think customization and they think this, a blank product where you can upload stuff. And that's the photo gifts market. And that's great, but once you've got a blank product, you can upload stuff. If you're a manufacturer, you could supply that to a retailer or create personalised products. You can also use it, and this market is 10 times bigger than this market. So, because the techniques used in customization are getting better and better, and the equipment is getting better and better, we've got an interesting engraving one that's a good example here today. Print on demand, if you look at Zazzle, Cafe Press, they do 10 times as much fixed design as personalised design. What it means is you can give people an unlimited choice without holding stock. So print on demand shouldn't be ignored, and the new one we're getting into more and more now is a configurable product. So lots of retailers and manufacturers have changed their production methods, so if you want a black jacket with a pink tartan lining, you can have one. But you need to be able to visualise all of those options on screen. And I guess the most famous example of that at the moment is Nike with Nike ID. So, because lots of small sites fail, and that's generally because of lack of traffic, I just wanted to reinforce that there is a massive, massive market here. And it's the people that do things right that get the turnover. And I just use 4 examples, hopefully I'm not treading on Alistair's toes for his business model in a second. Not on the high street, phenomenon. And their technology's not that great, they don't do previews on their website. Zazzle, they do previews. It's about 400 million, I think, now, in terms of turnover. And they're expanding into all sorts of different products. I like the home decor side. We've got a couple of home decor suppliers on now, including wallpaper, which is interesting. And love them or loathe them, getting on for 2 billion turnover now, Vistaprint, on orders other people didn't want. And then, I guess you all know Moonpig, they changed the greetings card market. I think Kurt may mention them later on. So, I kind of thought, this is a bit of a jigsaw puzzle here. You know, people have said, oh, software company getting involved in content. And the whole thing is quite interestingly tied up. The thing we've definitely worked out, brand and license ultimately drives turnover, but it should be used creatively. You can't do this without decent product suppliers who understand mass customization, and they can't sell their wares unless they've got retailers and website owners that get that the market is expanding for this. And I think the bit that's interesting that makes this market a little bit different to others, the feedback mechanisms from your customers and your staff are more instantaneous. I'll talk in a second about user-generated content. This is user-generated content. These are 3 products designed by my children last weekend. So I've actually told my kids, and we've got Talbot Trading Limited website, and they're going into business. They are 10, 12 and 14. So Peggy did some, I don't know, is it called tagging or something? Annie might tell me. Did her graffiti tag. So we put that on a t-shirt. Angus drew his Wildcat, is it an ocelot or something? Not sure. Put that on a canvas, and Billy copied some cows off somebody else's picture. So the point being, that content is precious to those three kids, and me, and probably their grandparents and everything else. So they would actually drive traffic and create content. And that's how the Zazop Cafe Press model has worked very effectively. So user-generated content is something we should encourage. So the other thing to think about, and again Kurt's going to mention this later, is it's not just about websites. Marketplaces are interesting. The problem with marketplaces at the moment is they generally can't give you a great experience for personalising things. But they will get there. So marketplaces drive more e-commerce traffic. Has everyone heard the stat about Amazon? Amazon outperforms Google for product searches by at least 2 to 1. So twice as many people search for a product on Amazon as do on Google. In-store. There are lots of kiosks. Kurt's going to talk about those. Mobile apps now. You've all seen most of the big sites are pushing you onto native apps now, rather than mobile websites. And there's a reason for that. And if you're in the B2B sector, the idea of your sales force going around with a tablet and creating things instantly for customers is top stuff. So that's all I was going to talk about for now. I'm going to hand you over to Rebecca, who's going to walk you through a little bit about the importance of content. So Rebecca, if you want to come and join us. Greg, are you able to move this on? Oh, I just click it. Ah, technology. Thank you. Yep.
Hello? Can everyone hear me? Good. Okay, so I'm here today as the proud director of the newly formed Custom Gateway. It's the point we all cheer. Yay! Excellent! And I'm here to talk to you about designing products for added value and to make them particularly sellable. But before I start, I'll take a second to tell you why it's me here in front of you today, and not one of my very beautiful co-directors talking about this. And it comes down to one basic thing. Andrew invited myself and my co-director, who is also my dad, to come up here and talk. And I said, oh, I really don't mind which one of us does it. And my dad's reaction was, I know some really funny jokes about working with your daughter. So I knew I had to keep the microphone out of his hands, and so you've got me. So, for those of you that don't know me, I came to the personalisation business when I was just 21 years old, and I designed a personalised newspaper for my granddad for his birthday, and my dad, who's a serial entrepreneur, took one look at it and said, you've got to sell those, they're fantastic. And we quickly realised that putting a fantastic design on a 2p sheet of paper suddenly made it very valuable, made it worth something. So In the Paper was born, and within a couple of years, somehow I was North East Entrepreneur of the Year and Enterprising Young Brit of the Year, and the paper was winning awards itself as Innovative Gift of the Year. We quickly realised that it was the football newspapers that were selling particularly well, and we realised that there was a market there for licensing them and broadening into licensed gifts. So our designers got hard to work and designed some fantastic products for Manchester United. And after knocking on their door for quite a while, we managed to get the Manchester United licence. And following that, the rest of the Premier League quickly came on board. But how does this all relate to designing products? Well, looking back over the years, it's always been about design. The value of our products aren't in what they are, but in what's on them. That's what makes them valuable. And there are three key components to what makes our products so valuable and so popular? The first one is the wrong one. The first one is personalization. And we all know how this works. You take a 2p piece of paper, you add personalization, and you have a product. It's totally true. So why is it that personalization adds so much value? Well, obviously the product becomes bespoke and unique. It's more than an off-the-shelf product because it's dedicated to that person. It shows a lot of thought on the part of the creator or the buyer. In this case, me. I put a lot of thought into creating this newspaper just for Andrew. And it's also very fun. I also had a lot of fun creating this newspaper for Andrew. But I'm preaching to the converted, I think, when it comes to personalization. We all know how much value it adds. As I said, we quickly realized that licensing and branding was another thing that added significant value to a personalized gift. We take the same piece of paper, we add a global brand, and we've instantly added a phenomenal amount of value. Brands are so important. They're recognizable, obviously, so they inspire trust in the customer. They're protected. We have exclusive licenses with the Premier League, so our products can't be copied. They're available exclusively from us. And they're powerful. People buy into these brands. They inspire so much loyalty, particularly where football's concerned. But there's even more to it than that. It's a running joke amongst my colleagues that I've learned to love football, but that's only partially true. I've never enjoyed watching football on telly. Dad, I'm sorry, I haven't. I've never worn a football shirt by choice. But I also always enjoy listening to people talk about football. It's a great unifier. When you listen to people talk about football, they use a collective pronoun. They say we. We aren't playing very well this season. We need a new manager. We deserve that win on Saturday. And it's the passion that they feel that our designs tap into. They feel that they are part of the team. They feel that they are part of the club. And our designs bring them closer together and make it more realistic. Now, I'm not saying that it's all sunshine and rainbows in working with licensed products. It's not, and our designers have to work to create interesting and unique products within very strict brand guidelines. But the power of the brand can't be underestimated, and this adds significant value to our products. So personalization and brand, very important. However, there are still some products out there that incorporate these two components yet don't do as well as they could. What is it about design? What's that intangible thing that differentiates between what's good, successful design and what's a poor, unsuccessful design? Is it entirely subjective, or is it possible to pinpoint exactly what it is that makes a good design a good design? When we're designing our products, we think of 4 key things. What's on trend? We look at the marketplace, we look at what's popular, what's fashionable. Are people buying textures? Are they buying patterns? Are they buying a particular colour? What's going on in the marketplace, in the industry? Is it relatable? Does it fit into that person's life? Can they see how that product would be part of their home? For us, believability is an important factor. You have to believe that Andrew Talbot was naked in the car wash. You have to believe that you signed for Manchester United. We're tapping into that belief and making it real, bringing the dream to life. And finally, is it fresh? Is it new? Does it look like something that's different, something that's forward-thinking? because the buyer wants to be seen as someone forward-thinking who goes out there and finds the latest and greatest products available. So these are the things that we think of when we're designing our products, and the things that can add value to products out there in the marketplace. Over the past 10 years in the personalisation market, we've been limited not by our imagination, but by our ability to expand our product range massively, and our ability to get our products out there to the massive world of retailers that are there. Furthermore, personalised products have been difficult to sell because a lot of our resellers who we work with don't have a product preview. In teaming up with Gateway and forming Custom Gateway, we've overcome all of these hurdles, and we've found a way to design products that are unique, pleasing, recognisable and protected.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh.
Kurt, if you want to come and join us. I'll hand you over to Kurt, the co-founder of Creation Express.
Hello? So I'm going to talk to you about some of our own experiences. I guess we've gone around personalisation in a slightly different way. We're all familiar with seeing it online. We took a step back and we've applied it slightly differently to the retail sector through Creation Express. We launched Creation Express in June 2014, so we've been working with Andrew and the team for quite a long time now. We've got 200 sites installed at the moment, which are kiosk-based systems enabling you to personalise a range of cards and gifts in store in a matter of minutes. We aim to have 1,000 in store by 2020. An online click and collect service powered through our website, which will soon be finished and online. And to replicate the model through distribution partners around the world. So we've set ourselves quite an ambitious target there. It's come about on the back of recognising a changing retail landscape. We've all seen the huge demand for personalisation online. A couple of the retailers that Andrew's just mentioned, not on the high street, with a turnover at the moment 153 million, Moonpig £51 million turnover. So the big brand names recognised, you know, throughout the UK, certainly growing around the world. We looked at what was happening in the retail sector, and you know, without a shadow of a doubt, that is changing year on year. It's becoming so much more digital. I was in the Trafford Centre last night, and it's a totally different landscape to what you are used to seeing in retail. The pictures that we've shown on there, kiosk screens, retailers getting a lot more, I suppose, savvy about how they're attracting customers into their shops. Del Watt, in a customer review in 2013, said consumers are seeking an interactive shopping experience and expect retailers to deliver it constantly across all channels. And that's without a shadow of a doubt true. You look at what's happening around us in retail at the moment. Retailers, they can't miss a sale anymore. So, you know, someone like Marks and Spencer's, Debenhams, if something's not in stock, your size isn't there, they'll immediately drive you onto a kiosk. They don't want to miss that sale. The catalogues that we knew and loved at Argos, they're becoming replaced by screens. We'll pay £3 for a coffee in a petrol station now, and even creating your own Big Mac at McDonald's is, you know, becoming the norm. We looked at how consumer behaviour was changing, something which we were trying to understand about personalisation is why people are so attracted to it. You know, all of a sudden, you know, Henry Ford, and you can buy it in any colour as long as it's black, has become you want something with your name on it. And why that's happening, something I was reading in a marketing textbook a few years ago when we were just launching the business, was that people are reading reviews so much more now. and they're becoming so expecting so much more from the products. They want it so specific to them, where personalisation becomes that ultimate consumerism. The high street for us, you know, recognising how the high street's changing. Footfall has without a doubt fallen. The costs are going up with rents, rates, the new minimum wage. Service-based stores are appearing, so people aren't just selling products anymore. Internet buying is increasing. We could see that retailers needed to change and change with the times. So we looked at applying personalisation to retail, and it wasn't without challenges. Recognising that it was time critical. People want, certainly in our sector, which is cards and gifts, people want it now, there and then. And the impulse buys, you're going looking for a card for your granddad, and you want a present to take away with it. It's making sure it's available. Our challenges then, we're looking at ways to print and introducing click and collect services so that it became possible. Obviously for us in this sector, personalisation to retailers, massive benefits to them, low stock holding, cash is working in the businesses, unique selling points, the best sellers are always in stock, massive seasonal benefits where nothing's left after the season, obviously again huge in our sector of cards and gifts, and an endless choice. So for us it's been, you know, it's still the start of what we see as being quite a long journey. Personalisation is just becoming the norm for us now. Like I say, that word expectation, certainly people are just growing to expect to be able to put the name, put a picture of the kids, put on an item. So that's the Creation Express side of the business. The next side of the business, which we've just launched in, which we hope is going to be a help to everybody within the network, certainly with your own websites, is Click and Create, where we are designers by trade, so we have a big portfolio of design that we can help bring to your websites through the gateway system. And I just want to talk to you about greetings cards and our experience in the greetings card industry. We've worked in the greetings card industry for the past 15 years now. Some you may or may not know, it's a £1.7 billion market in the UK, sold in one in 6 retailers. It's an industry not without its challenges. At the moment, it's Card Factory bringing in the value side of the market, the likes of the supermarkets taking so much volume out of the market, and certainly, as we all know, Moonpig, Funky Pigeon, growing online. The market in the UK for greetings cards is acknowledged to be 10 years ahead of the rest of the world in terms of design. 85% of greetings cards are bought by women. Greeting card making is the #1 craft hobby in the UK, and the average person sends 42 greetings cards per year in the UK, which is pretty phenomenal when you think about it. Personalisation of greetings cards, without a shadow of a doubt, has disrupted the market. It's still Moonpig from when it was launched back in 2000. We remember it well, Katie and I. People just didn't believe that anyone would want a card to be printed on the internet, to be printed at all, not to be signed. They found it very difficult to forge that new market. Once they received the investment from their business partners, they started the TV advertising, and it all changed. It took them 7 years to make a profit, but it was bought by Photobox for 120 million in 2011. So it's a phenomenal achievement and a phenomenal brand. The perceptions certainly did change over time. The reality was that consumers now expect greetings cards to appear with, Mother's Day with the children's faces on them. Nothing's more special than receiving a personalised card. It's incredibly convenient to be able to print, to produce a card online, and a personalised card is something that you'll keep forever. Certainly, again for myself, I've got a number of cards with pictures of my children on that I will keep forever. And that's why we hope that we'll be able to help you guys with your own websites. We launched Click and Create back in September. The first websites are just about to go live this week, I'm led to believe. It offers gateway retailers the resource to be able to sell greetings cards, personalised, very simple to add to your system, and that automatic fulfilment. Available to discuss later. So thank you very much for listening.
Thank you. Okay, we've just got me back for a few more minutes before Alistair finishes off with business models. Anybody know what this is? No? Anyone? It's a button, yeah? And it is part of the Internet of Things. So, how many people in the audience know what the Internet of Things is? Not many, right, you're not part of Generation My. Basically, this was put together by our team in the office, and I've been given the short straw of presenting it to you. Created by Annie, really, it's Annie's concept. And we're talking about, obviously I look at myself of a certain age, just about 50, and I look around the room of people of varying ages, but people like my kids probably will never own a computer. You know, they've had a phone or a tablet since a reasonably early age, and they look at things in a different way to we look at things. You know, they would laugh at the idea of this camera with a bit of film in that you took to a shop to get your prints done. That's never going to be anything in their lifetime. So they're growing up in a digital world, and the digital world is very different. Why are we so obsessed? What about the selfie? Who gets the selfie? Who hasn't taken a selfie? They're everywhere. And yet, we don't see them yet on as many products, but they're used, and it's up to us as entrepreneurs, people involved in the mass customization industry, to find different ways. So we've got to get in touch and understand, without appearing too condescending, the generation that's coming up, because they look at images and assets in a different way. I mean, how does this translate? Well, it translates into people like when I did my user-generated content earlier, when my kids created 3 products. People wouldn't imagine that was possible. You know, we look at designing your own suitcase. We look at people's keeping stuff on Instagram and creating posters. Don't know if you've seen the innovative printing on chocolate. These are all different things that people are using images for. So Generation My is really how the next generation looks at images, looks at text, and they won't be happy to buy products. So you know those stats we saw earlier, saying, what was it, 35% of people considered buying a personalised product. As the years go on, that will change, and more people will be into it. So this is a concept that I'm sure Annie and the team are going to share more as the years come on. We're developing the idea of Generation My. So thank you, Annie, for coming up with that one. So I'm now going to pass you on to my colleague Alistair, who's just going to go through a few ideas of business models that are working for people in the mass customization space. Thanks, Alistair.
Somehow seem to have got the end spot again, which I normally do, so hopefully it's the best to last, or something like that. What was really great is, I remember this event a year ago, and in the 14, 15 months since we had the event, I think every day I must discover something new and exciting that has something to do with personalisation. And it really, really does excite me. And then walking around, speaking to people I saw last year, and speaking to some new people are seeing the ideas and the concepts, and they're trying to think about how they can take advantage of it. Also, I think I must have had 3 conversations where people made their own conclusions about Generation My. The young people of today, this is how they buy, this is how they behave. So what we've got to think is about business models that we can employ in our businesses to take advantage of personalisation and trends. And what I'm going to look at is 4 different ones today, to hopefully get the juices flowing for you to think about things in your businesses that can help. So business models leveraging personalisation. So Andrew, as he always tries to do, stealing my thunder earlier, talks about print on demand. I think his stat was it's 10 times bigger than personalisation. I love print on demand. I absolutely love it. And it's changing the way a lot of businesses are going to behave. Big retail hasn't quite got it yet. They're still obsessed with mass production coming out of typically the Far East. They're not actually working out that with the power of print on demand, you can have a local production, start off with blanks and start off with designs. But that will come. Big retail will change. But today I want to focus on specifically artists' designs. The power of print on demand is such that 10 years ago, 20 years ago, small businesses had a problem. And the biggest problem was stock. Stock was expensive. Stock was a risk. Stock was a headache. Stock took up space. Stock killed companies. People bought the wrong stock. They didn't buy enough of the right stock. They didn't know what was going to sell often. A lot of businesses failed, not because their ideas was great, because they bought the wrong stock. So it's typically for artists who are typically big smaller businesses who don't want to go out and invest in large ranges of what they hope will sell, they can now use their intellectual property, the designs that they create and they love, and they can now create thousands of products using suppliers that they can work with who are holding the blanks, who can now print on demand. Equally, using technology as well. Gateway's custom product platform is designed to enable the creation of print on demand, so thousands of products can be created quickly. The end result is products that don't actually exist. They're a picture on a website, and it's not until they're actually ordered and paid for is the art actually created. So all of a sudden, the blank plain suitcase is now beautifully designed with the artist himself. And this artist must have now 1,000 different SKUs on his website. None of them exist until they're paid for. So print on demand, amazing. So the second one I want to look at today is automating processes and creating new markets. We get excited about this because we have technology at our heart, but we're always looking at how we can make things more efficient. I think Andrew touched on that earlier. And there's a lot of businesses out there that are thinking to themselves, how can they become more efficient? So here's a company called Branded For Me. In essence, they're a promotional merchandise distributor. But their client, for those with good eyesight, is Screwfix. Screwfix we all probably know to be the tradesman's Bible. Every tradesman will have a Screwfix catalogue in their back pocket to order their tools, their supplies, whatever it may be. But Screwfix never got into clothing. And there's reasons for that. But if I can just play this video, please. So what these guys have done is focused on a market that didn't exist 10 years ago, and there's reasons for that. The average promotional merchandise distributor focuses on 10% of the companies that exist. 90% of companies employ 10 or less people. Going back 10 years ago, or 5 years ago, minimum quantities for especially embroidered apparel that you're seeing there were high. They were high because the technology, tapes had to be created, tapes were expensive, stock had to be purchased. So what they're now focused on is the 90% of their tradesmen who probably employ less than 10 people, an average 2 or 3. They can now provide branded apparel that they've never been able to do before, and in doing so, opening up a whole market that's been ignored. A number of reasons how they've been able to do that. Technology. But specific here, auto-digitization. Technology now that we have within our web stores and web platforms. In fact, because of the pixels, you can't see the difference, but that's a flat JPEG, and that actually was an embroidery file, but they both look similar. But now on the fly, we can take logos from customers and PNGs, JPEGs, whatever they may be, and they can be uploaded onto the apparel, they can be auto-digitized, the embroidery can be seen, and calculate the cost and stitching count. Not just auto-digitization, because of the auto-digitization, then using order management systems, we can then pass that automatically to the fulfiller who can produce and drop ship the product. I think I saw a presentation at Slick Stitch, and they were saying that a couple of years ago the average pieces per order was 70. Someone might correct me the exact numbers, and now it's 2. And Ian did a great tweet about their facility. This is a whole business now that geared themselves up to support people like this, that minimum quantities of onesies, and they're efficient and profitable. Consequently, the promo industry, I feel, is at a changing point, and there's an innovative supplier now who's actually produced a website called No Minimum, and every product on the website has a minimum quantity of 1, whereas a typical promo seller and buyer would be looking at average orders or minimum orders of £1,000, and these would be bulk printed, bulk produced, bulk delivered. The beauty about onesies is that we can now have special orders where I saw a fantastic tailor-made towel from Yob Golf outside earlier. Brand's tailor-made, nice bit of branding for my name on. I want to associate myself with my brand. Promotional merchandise now can take advantage of leveraging brand, product, individuality for bulk orders. Okay, how large corporates get personalised. There was lots of examples I could have used from here, and for those of you who know me, I actually cover the United States market, and this is a project I've been working on this year, and I love it from an advertising point of view, a branding point of view. I love it because it's completely personalised as well.
Why the rose that grew from the concrete had damaged petals. On the contrary, we would all celebrate its tenacity. We would all love its will to reach the sun. Well, we are the roses. This is the concrete. These are my damaged petals. Don't ask me why. Ask me how.
What we loved when we worked on this, I think, after the project sort of went live, I think Annie and I were at an exhibition. We'd just landed at the airport, we went straight to the hotel, and then the first thing we saw on the TV, like every American bar has, was this advert. But there's meant to be a page at the end of the video, which isn't there, which is annoying, but it shows at the end of the video about the apparel. And what I love about this campaign is, firstly, we're just a kid from somewhere. That was a kid from Inglewood in Chicago, who grew up on the streets, who became a famous basketball player, whose name I was meant to remember and didn't. But the point is about inspiration. He put the power in his backpack. But at the end of it, it's all about being just a kid from somewhere. In this case, I put Manchester. And it's the most simple thing on the Powerade website. They're asking their people to buy either a hoodie, a sweatshirt, a cap, or a t-shirt. 4 products only. But the beauty of personalisation is this is personalisation about where you are a kid from. If you Google the Powerade Just a Kid campaign, there's lots of like 10-minute videos about people's life stories. They're getting people to buy into their brand through nothing to do with their drink, being just a kid. And I think Powerade obviously helped them achieve. But look at that hoodie, $54.99. Today's exchange rate, about £52, I think, but whatever it might be. But this is a typical promo item. Those in apparel, you can probably shout out how much a hoodie costs, plain. Someone must be in apparel here. Someone guess it. 6. I'll go with 6. 6 to 12 quid, depending upon the quality. In the promo world, these are probably given away and maybe sold at 15, maybe £20 at trade price. We're suddenly personalising it, $54.99. Amazing. But not just amazing, this is Powerade with a campaign selling to their customers to advertise their products at premium margin. It's just genius. And then again, the production is done by fulfillers. It's automatically routed through our order management system and it's drop shipped and delivered. So to me, it's a very powerful campaign, and I love the video. So my last one for today is photo gifts, the rise of a market because of the demise of another. I think we all know about the Kodak moment, and this reinforces a lot of the presentations you've seen today as well. Change is coming, personalisation is coming. My daughter of 15 is doing things and buying things in a way I would never have done. Andrew said about his children as well. Kodak failed to see it coming because they thought film was here forever. If you don't know the story, that's not for today. But out of the demise of film and film printing rose photo gifts. And photo gifts and the successful people in photo gifts had to adjust their business models to survive. So these are probably the original personalisers, and I think it just highlights really well what we're thinking about in our market. So here is Max Spielman. There's one in Manchester, there's one in Macclesfield, and we've come from, they've got hundreds of stores and kiosks around the place. Yes, they will still print photographs, but now I think my wife got 1,000 done from our holiday, to ask me why, and it's about 6p, for the whole lot, £6. Not expensive. They're not making margin on that. What they're having to focus on is the value of the basket or the checkout. So, looking at Max Spielman's new website, print from your phone or tablet. Start printing now. Not send your camera roll in. We'll have a go. Buy photo prints. Yeah, we still do that. Gift ideas, canvas photo prints, personalised cushions. They're looking to ways that people can come to them with their assets and get a high basket value. So this is just some example of what they're selling. Bags, we've all seen them, wallets. Jigsaws, my favourite, great for gifts, the kids on the jigsaw, use them like that. The clock, and what else we've got? Desk clocks. I could go on. We've all seen them out there, have a good look. And what they're doing, they're using their customers' intellectual property, they're using their brand and service to provide alternative to increase the basket value and the value of their customer. I had a good conversation with an old friend of mine, Graham, earlier. We have these networks in all of our businesses, we have these customers. How can we utilise and monetise them into their full life cycle value as a customer? Use their assets or your assets to sell them more. On our website, we have a specific page, which is the URL in the presentation, about different business models for customisable products. And there's just some examples here, and if you, on the web page there's more. So I'd ask you all to have a look there, because it's inspiring and makes you think about your businesses. And now I'm the last, and that is it. So thank you. For the people watching this online or looking at it later, that's the full URL to the business model page. Obviously, our new Twitter account is @CustomGateway, and we always update our blog at customgateway.co.uk/blog. So I believe I'm the last person, is that it? Any questions, or is that finishing like that? Finish up. So thank you all for coming. I think there's going to be a bar open. I'll be sharing a beer with you all, and all of our nice suppliers will still be there showing their stuff till about 5 o'clock. So thank you for your time.